Hi guys, in CWQ here, and today we're talking about the solar eclipse, which is going to be happening on April 8th. Due to this solar eclipse, there has been some talk in Texas about the fact that the power grid in Texas could be affected. They're saying that a total solar eclipse when the sun is completely shrouded by the moon is set to occur on April 8th, passing from northern Mexico across southwest, and into New England. A 100% loss of sunlight is due to take place in Texas from around 12:10 to 3:10 p.m. Central Time. According to Hugh Clutter, a data scientist for solar power forecaster Solacast, most of the continental U.S. will experience a significant drop in solar generation, but the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, ERCOT, will be heavily impacted by the effects of the eclipse. Solcast projects suggests that should the skies be clear that day, because the eclipse will occur in the middle of the day, ERCOT's solar production will suddenly drop from nearly 15,000 megawatts to around 1,000 megawatts before returning to normal. It estimates that the overall loss to the grid will be 11.7% of its total daily solar generation. He also stated that this would amount to a loss of 16.9 gigawatt hours, enough to power 1.69 billion LED light bulbs, but that further solar projections coming online before April make it likely this number could be higher. ERCOT's own projections, published on March 7th, suggest solar output would drop from 99.2% just after noon on April 8th to 7.6% at 1:40. While the eclipse is expected to affect power generation in other regions, Texas power grid has a larger proportion of its supply generated by solar power, whereas for grid operators in New York or New England, solar power tends to be limited to residential buildings. By comparison, the New York power grid solar generation is predicted to peak at just over 3,500 megawatts before falling to less than 250 megawatts. ERCOT says that it's planning for the eclipse and will use available tools to balance the system when it occurs. In the days and hours leading up to the eclipse, it will be monitoring generation and weather forecasts to ensure demand is met. Um, they've also previously suffered from strains on the power grid due to extreme weather periods. In January, they noted tight grid conditions due to a cold snap, a prolonged heat wave in the summer of 2023. When the solar eclipse occurred in August of 2017, the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of National Scientific and Technical Information estimated the U.S. lost around a quarter of its solar power generation capacity, but noted that it did not cause any operational issues. So, what that means is there should be a loss of electric due to the power grids not receiving enough sunlight. That's not surprising. Cincinnati schools in Ohio are going to be closing for the upcoming total solar eclipse. And the total solar eclipse is such a big deal. A lot of people have not seen it, and it will be historically significant. The Earth, Sun, and Moon last all lined up like this more than 100 years ago. So this one is historic. Cities and counties are preparing for crowds like they've never seen before. I was hearing that across Texas, especially, they're worried about people running into small towns that cannot supply food and water enough for people. Um, that is a big deal. If you are planning on going to some of these areas, make sure you're taking your own water and your own food with you. Um, there's places that these small towns that people are planning on going to don't have, but maybe a very small convenience store and don't really have the necessities for a huge influx of people. It also states with the increase in visitors, there could be limited or degraded cell service in the area. Emergency management coordinator of the city of Georgetown said they won't know until the weekend. It might seem excessive, but they said that preparation for this cosmic muse is no joke. There's going to be millions of people coming that way to join and see the eclipse. And a lot of people were talking about driving 2 hours and 12 hours, and that it's wall to wall traffic and bumper to bumper traffic for over 100 miles. So, just so people know, make sure you're taking your own food and water and prepared. Make sure, I would say, to at least have some gas with you for your car in case you can't get into a gas station. Southwestern University is going to be holding a watch party on the day of the event with some viewing glasses, and those are first come, first serve. Um, Batarf, I believe, stated that they're going to have 10 telescopes out for people to look at the partial eclipse with. And if you plan to use glasses, make sure they are ISO 12312 dash 2 colon 2015. That number is usually found on the inside of the glasses, and it means that it will protect your eyesight. Also, Central Texas could see another total solar eclipse in 20 years. So, just so you know, if you miss this one in 20 years, you may see another one. I'm looking up how you can buy these solar glasses. I don't see it. Okay, Arkansas is saying that drivers will need extreme patience. RDOT has prepared the area roadways for the solar eclipse. They state we're just over 3 weeks away from going dark in northeast Arkansas from the Great American Eclipse. The Arkansas Department of Transportation says planning process for April 8th began around 2 years ago to ensure it's ready for the influx of drivers. Brad Smithley, RDOT District 10 engineer, said he expects traffic to be heavy ahead of the eclipse, but believes the real pressure will be the morning of. The morning of April 8th, we see maybe Memphis and Dyersburg and all the way over into Kentucky. Folks might drive this way. That brings them across I-555 and Highway 412. Smithley said he isn't expecting traffic to be at its worst until the totality ends. When those 4 minutes are up, or 2 or 3 minutes is over, everyone moves. That's a time when extreme patience for drivers is going to be very, very important. Right now, the district is looking into its work zones to ensure it's not blocking lanes that don't have to be blocked. They're looking at construction zones that they can't stop. I 55 over Mississippi County has a big construction project. There's actually two, and it has daily traffic issues. RDOT plans to have truck stations on all major highways across the region with supplies should drivers need help. They're outfitting a number of their pickup trucks with lots of tools, water, cracks, towing chains or straps, and gasoline. So that's one of the things. If you don't have enough gas, there will be assistance through Arkansas here. The agency will also likely take over traffic signals in heavily congested areas. They stated, "We are not the police, but if we have heavy congestion, our staff needs to flag or move traffic in some way at an intersection to relieve congestion, they will." So that's coming from the DOT in Arkansas. Philadelphia is ready with celestial themed donuts and beer. Well, that's interesting. So if you're planning on traveling from Wichita, you will probably be traveling quite a ways. Um, they're telling people to be careful when they're shopping for glasses. Says a total eclipse is a once in a lifetime event to see, but the intensity of the sun makes it important to exercise care in how you view the eclipse. During the solar eclipse, when it's obviously just completely dark, there's no light to damage the eyes. It's those couple of seconds preceding and just after the total eclipse that the light starts to show again. And for those couple of seconds, those are the riskiest moments in causing damage to the eyes. What kind of damage can the exposure cause to the eye? The back of the eye, the actual inside of the eyeball, is lined by the retina. And the part of the retina that is responsible for our central vision is called the macula. And even central to that is the fovea. Is that part of the eye which gets damaged from the intense light of the sun, and it can cause what we call solar retinopathy. In simple terms, you can think of it as burning the back of the eye, but it is really more damage to the cells that are back there, and it's the intense light producing a chemical reaction which then causes a solar retinopathy. Is the damage irreparable? There is no known treatment. They can assume that the damage is permanent and irreversible. Children, because they might not wear glasses, so if your child decides not to wear glasses, then do not let them look at the sun and the moon during the eclipse. Um, the other problem is that they might peek around the glasses. Also, older people who have cataracts in the eye, the glasses help protect the back of the eye. Is kind of like an extra layer of protection. Young people have a clear lens in the eye that eliminates that extra protection, so young people are more at risk. There's also a medication called tetracycline family of antibiotics, which includes doxycycline, which is pretty normal antibiotic that people take for infection. It's also commonly used with teenagers who have acne. People who take these antibiotics are at higher risk because they are at a level of light sensitivity. In addition, people who are either incapacitated from alcohol or drugs or mental impairment for a variety of reasons, psychiatric disease, people who it is harder to communicate with about not looking at the sun, those people are at higher risk as well. So those are people that you need to keep an eye on and make sure that they're not staring at the sun without glasses. The certain glasses that you that you can see have the letters and numbers on them. They're ISO 123122. There's also another one, and it's ISO 123122. Sometimes you'll also see extra numbers after that. Um, the glasses are going to have a much darker than regular filter that blocks regular UV light, more like normal sunglasses would have. These glasses are readily available. You can Google and find them on Amazon and in grocery stores. The biggest issue in getting glasses is the fake ones that are out there. How you can tell that they aren't fake? There's a website that has thoroughly researched each one of the companies making the glasses. So if you're looking for glasses, go to eclipse.aas. Well, it's eclipse.aas.org. So that's eclipse.aas.org. The AAS is the American Astronomy Society. There's a list of manufacturers that make eclipse glasses. It's a pretty long list, so it's not that difficult to find these glasses. That's if you're going to buy the glasses, make sure they're on that list. So solar eclipse glasses prevent catastrophic eye damage when you're looking at the sun. And the way that these glasses work is that the protection is important because looking directly at the sun without protection can permanently damage the eye within a matter of seconds. The retina is a light sensing layer in the back of the eyeball, which I already explained. These glasses have filters that block infrared and ultraviolet light. Neither of the non-visible forms of radiation cause immediate retinopathy, but they can damage the eye over long terms. But solar filters block infrared and ultraviolet light. Eclipse glasses work by using solar filters to dampen the intensity of the sun's light way down. They are at least 1,000 times darker than ordinary sunglasses. And the American Astronomical Society Solar Eclipse Task Force stated no more than 0.00032% of the sun's visible light can get through a proper solar filter. So that is good. Safe Eclipse glasses are either an aluminized polyester or black polymer made of carbon particles that are suspended in resin. Eclipse glasses shouldn't be used with binoculars, cameras, or telescopes. I wonder why. Oh, maybe because it would enhance the optics of those viewing apparatuses can concentrate the light even beyond what the eclipse glasses can block. Special solar filters designed for binoculars, cameras, and telescopes exist and should be used by anyone looking at the eclipse with more than just their eyes. The standard for a solar viewer is known as ISO 12312-2, but just seeing that number stamped on a product is not enough to prove that it actually meets standards. Many products on the market don't have the proper documentation to ensure they're safe. AAS again keeps a list of safe suppliers. Unfortunately, there are vendors out there who claim their products are safe, but either are claiming it fraudulently or don't realize the supplier they're buying it from has sent them a bogus report. There is no need for eclipse glasses during totality, the brief moment when the moon completely covers the sun's face and the total solar eclipse. At that point, the only light is from the sun's corona, or outer atmosphere, and it's only about as intense as the light from the full moon. However, you still want to wear your glasses if you plan on looking at the moon or the sun. Right now, Feinberg says the sun is at a point of maximum activity on its surface. That's the reason to have eclipse glasses on hand, even without an upcoming eclipse. Features such as sunspots are sometimes visible to the eye during these periods, and the only safe way to see them is to look through eclipse viewers. Well, that's kind of interesting to know that the eclipse viewers are useful even when it's not an eclipse. So now you know. Okay, you guys, well, that is a quick update on the solar eclipse that is going to happen on April 8th. I hope you enjoyed the update. I hope you found something useful within the update that you can use if you are planning on going and watching the solar eclipse, or if you are staying at home and are in a location where this eclipse is occurring. Anyways, you guys, much love. God bless. I will miss the solar eclipse here in my area because I am in North Carolina. We will not see it here. However, I will be watching it on YouTube if it is shown on YouTube or on the news. Anyways, you guys, much love, God bless, and have a great day.